show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Like a king, give me my crown.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
All right, guys, welcome back.
Happy Wednesday, America's favorite new talk show, late night.
That is a factory. So, okay, a lot going on in the world. We're gonna get to it, but before we start, friendly reminder: you deserve to be rich.
Yes.
Get the book if you can. That'll be helpful. And tomorrow we have a special YouTube live with Kiana Watson at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time on Earn Your Leisure's YouTube channel. We're going to go over all the things you need to know before buying a home. This is something that's so vitally important. So many people are underwater because they didn't anticipate how much the home was really going to cost when you talk about taxes and upkeep and furnishing the apartment. So we're going to go over everything. We're going to go over everything. Yeah, we're going to go over everything. So that's important tomorrow. 9:00 tomorrow. Very, very important. Very, very important. Ian, any announcements?
If you want to know how to get rich in the market, go to ianinvest.com. If you want to know where to get in, where to get out, what stocks to stay away from, come join Red Panda Stock Club. We're doing like live Telegram sessions now. So be in the Telegram because we do those late night. And the Stock Club call will be this Monday at 9 p.m. Central. Shout out to my Red Panda Sports family. We turn players into owners one day at a time. And the mastermind this weekend in Atlanta, I'm going over what prompts I use on what to know how to invest in. This is some of the material I wasn't able to cover when I was on stage at Invest Fest and killed it, put on the show real quick. So this weekend, I'm going to give y'all 15 of my favorite prompts that I like to use when I'm looking for an edge in the market. So see you guys this weekend.
Atlanta. Yeah, it's going to be legendary. Friday, Saturday. Man, looking forward to that. So shout out to everybody that's in the mastermind. It's going to be dope.
Yep.
Shout out to my guy, Nick. Godspeed.
Shout out to Nick.
Support Black business. Vitally important.
You've been putting on the show. I know Drip report over, but I'll see the move. Well played, sir. Fashion Bomb Daily, Streetwear Edition. Pow, pow. Yeah.
Gotta do it. So, all right.
I know you covered this in the book. I have a question for you to start the week. And it was a controversial take, but I think it's a conversation that's needed to be had. Is the American dream dead?
Yeah, for
and sure. I know they're going to say, y'all are lucky, y'all are entrepreneurs, you live in America. Shout to you 4 Trump supporters in here. Go back to where you came from. Yeah, I hear you. But at scale, it's a conversation that needs to be had. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's how we start the book off, for sure. So, it's definitely a little controversial, but I look at it like this. As far as I'll speak on the good side first. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to really chase your dreams, America is flawed in a lot of ways, past and present. But there's no place like America. Only in America. That was the slogan for Don King. So America's still a place.
Donald Trump. I'm like, boy, hold on.
Don King. Remember Don King? That was only in America. That was his thing.
Yeah, another pillar. We got to talk about the Black culture vultures one day, but go ahead.
He's a legend, though.
For sure. I'm not taking that away.
yeah, for sure. But, when you look at the situation as far as, if you really, America's a place where you can really get busy. Put your head down 24 months, make the right moves, and you could really, really change your life in America.
For sure.
So I'll start off saying that. Now, as far as the American dream, what I'm referring to a lot of times when I speak about the American dream being a lie is that this idea that if you work hard and you make it to the middle class, then that's the golden level of life. And you can, retire at 65 and you can send your kids to college and that to me is a lie. The middle class is a product. The the mortgage system in America is a product of the banking system.
Yeah.
So the idea of, okay, you moving from, and now we're seeing a reverse, people are moving from the suburbs to the city. But the idea that you move from the city to from a low income neighborhood to a suburb to a mid to, doing okay neighborhood has some level of security is not true. You actually probably have even less security, because at least when you're paying rent, you're just paying rent. Worst that happens is you miss the rent and you get kicked out. The worst thing that happens when you default on your loan is that you can actually get sued. And now you got $400,000 that you got to pay, and then it ruins your credit forever. And then so it's actually way worse to default on a mortgage than it is to just not pay your rent. You could just walk out on a rent payment. But the thing about it is this: most Americans are buying homes that they can't afford. That's why you need to watch this show tomorrow. Most Americans are buying homes that they can't afford. So when you're putting something on heavily over a debt, so you're going in debt, tremendous amount of debt, to make sure that you're living somewhere. But the average person doesn't have $4,000 in savings. So what that tells me is that's why we have to have compassion for homeless people, because we don't know how they got there, either from the mental aspect or the financial aspect. But the vast majority of people are not far away from being homeless, right? We're all just one decision and one paycheck away from being homeless. So you got to think about this stuff, right? Where it's like, okay, if you have $4,000 saved, then that means that you're living pretty much paycheck to paycheck. And if something happens for a month, let alone 2 months, right? If you don't have family, you're going to be out on the street. That's not a dream to me. That's more of a nightmare. So you gotta leverage the next 30 years to live in a home that you can't afford. Work every single day to make sure you maintain that level, right? Then you sending your kids to college. The college is $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. Minimum. The average person, I just said the average person got $4,000 in savings. So how are they going to pay $30,000 a year? Well, what happens? You student loans. So now you're in debt for your house. Your kids are in debt for their education. They're getting degrees most of the time that's not even going to really advance them in life. So they're starting life out with $150,000 student loan debt, and they're still not even able to find a job, right? And then when you look at it from a standpoint of wages have stayed the same for the last 30 years for the most part, but the cost of living
they're negative with adjusted for interest rates and inflation.
Right. The cost of living has gone up tremendously. So it's like this on a chart. So if wages are staying the same and cost of living is going up, the next question is, how are people able to survive? How are they buying groceries? It's a direct correlation to why credit card debt is at an all-time high, and every year it becomes a new all-time high, trillions of dollars of credit card debt, right? Because the difference that people are not making in their income, they're supplementing, putting it on debt. So you're living somewhere that you can't afford. You're sending your kids to school for that they can't afford. You're putting yourself in debt on the home. You're putting yourself in debt for the school, and then you're putting yourself in even more debt to even just live day-to-day life.
Yeah,
that to me is a triple recipe for disaster. We didn't even talk about car payments.
Yeah, car loans.
And other forms of debt. So that's not a dream. That's a nightmare. That's what most people. But psychologically, you can say, okay, well, I'm still doing better than I was, or somebody that's in abject poverty, because I'm not, waiting on food lines, and I'm not starving. I have meals coming in. I could go to Miami 2 times a year. But it's like that dream is to keep you it's like putting a carrot in front of the rabbit, but having them on a treadmill. You can see it, because if you're in abject poverty, now you when you don't have no hope, that's when you revolt, right? But when they got to keep you some level of hope, and they got to keep you some level of you're better than somebody else. So that's the trick, even with like white supremacy, where poor white people, that they feel like at the very least they're white. So they made them feel emboldened by that, because they might not have anything else, but they was like, okay, I still feel good about myself because I'm white. Living in the poorest states in America, having, health issues, can't read, all types of shit. So I just see that as a trap to the American dream. That's not real to me. That's more of a nightmare. But that's my humble opinion. How do you feel about it?
When statements like this are made, I always like to go to the origins of it, and I would love to ask the question: American dream for whom? It didn't say American dream for citizens. So if I look at the banks, if credit card debt is at the highest it's ever been, mortgages are higher than they've ever been. The average payment for a car is, I read, $772 per month, which is insane. And then if undergrad loans are higher than ever, and now there's degradation in even going to college and having a pathway. Like most kids who go to school now, they don't know what career path they're going to take. At least when we went to college, or the thought was in elementary and high school, go to college, you'll get a job, damn near guaranteed, you won't have any issues. I think the American dream may be dead for the middle class, but for those who put this financial level of economic terrorism together, I think the dream is alive and well for them, for sure. I don't think anything at this scale happens by accident. And I've always said it, like the middle class has been eroded and people try and push back on it. But when you look at the actual data, people are suffering at scale worldwide while the middle is being crunched. So yeah, do I think the American dream is dead for the citizens? Yes. For the institutions, I think they're happier than ever. Because now if I have a class of people that were doing well and I somewhat eradicate them through AI or scaling, inflation, corrections in the market manipulation, I can control the population a lot better than opposed to if everyone is doing well. So, but you guys put in the comments, what do you think? Is the American dream alive and well? But the picket fence, go to college, guaranteed employment, no, that's over with. The man worked for 20 or 30 years, but
let's talk about this. Trump administration a few days ago put a freeze on all grants and loans. Yeah. Not student loans though.
No. Look, nobody bigger than the program, right?
That's a fact.
Those student loans, you can't freeze that. Oh man, we got to keep getting paid, keep the debt cycle going.
And then a federal judge put a temporary block on it, and then today they rescinded the order. Potentially trillions in aid. They just stopped everything. Free lunch for kids. And this is interesting because this goes back to, people saying like, okay, like DI has never benefited a black man, or black people don't benefit from these grants anyway. Now, the numbers are low compared to other people, for sure. You look at DEI, black people are not the number one benefit to that. No, for sure. But you can't say it doesn't affect people, because it's like, shout out to my man Stick Watts, if you know him. He's from Watts. Yeah. Community activist, done a bunch of stuff in Watts. He called me when the Trump thing hit, like, yo, I just lost $850,000. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, I had a program in Watts. We feed people, we give kids, opportunities, do different things. Like $850,000, we supposed to get the money in 3 days, and they just said like, yo, it's over. It's on hold right now. He's like, yo, that directly affects me in my neighborhood. Like, I'm not gonna be able to provide these services that we've been doing for these kids and people living below the poverty line in Watts, California for the last 10 years. They just said it was done. Free lunch. Like these things do have real world implications. So to say that nobody has ever benefited from it, or nobody, that's it's a misinformed statement, but it's also a dangerous narrative to actually push. So the idea that you could just stop the idea that he even considered this is crazy, right? Because like I said, this is this is stuff that's actually people need. Like, people need, like, you just stop it cold turkey. Debt
to GDP ratio is the highest it's ever been after 25 years of war, us owing China all that money. Like, and I keep saying it, for those who voted for him, you're going to get what you asked for and more. And we're seeing it in his first week. He's throwing everything he can at the wall, and it's starting to affect people. My question is, has that funding to Ukraine stopped? See, I'm not gonna get us canceled, but I want to know if some of these sources where funds are going to, where they say that they don't have money for the American people. Like, I don't know if Los Angeles has gotten the fucking aid that they need yet. Flint is still having issues from 4 years ago and cleanliness of water. This is going to have reverberating effects. It's for everyone who's like, yo, he's a great business person. And y'all act like he was fucking Steve Jobs. Like, no, bro, okay. But you're going to get what you asked for. For over these next 4 years, while him and Elon are buddy for these next 24 months, it is going to be some. And for any of you in the comments, like, I can't believe y'all are liberal. Bro, stop. Y'all kill me with that take and don't have no connections to the administration, and he don't give a damn about y'all either. Come on, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
This is what you voted for, and this is what you're gonna get.
That's a fact. Can we talk about the Congo?
For sure. Go ahead.
Well, there's a war going on right now in the Congo. And shout out to Shaka Bars. You know, he's actually on the front lines. It's crazy. But Goma, that's where he was at. And that's that. So that's a very complex situation, but it's unfortunate. And that's actually this Congo is actually the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world right now. Mm-hmm. That gets very little attention. Today it got a lot of press I seen, but very little attention, very little aid. And it's crazy because like when you look at like movies like Wakanda, like the Congo is Wakanda. It's the richest country in the world as far as natural resources. It has pretty much everything. Rubber, copper, uranium, cobalt, coltan, gold. Like Congo has, I said everything. They said like $87 trillion worth of natural resources. Like, and it's one of the poorest countries in the world. That's crazy if you think about it. Like, of course, but it's like cell phone technology. Yeah,
everything that we need to build this and anything like it.
Smartphones, all of that stuff. That's what they get from the cobalt mines, and this green technology that we're benefiting from all comes from child labor, wars, all types of stuff that's happening.
Sanctions
in Congo. Yes.
So it's just Confessions of Economic Hitman. Yep.
That's a fact. And it also goes back to how Europe drew up these countries, because that actually plays a major part too. You got the Hutsis and the Tutsis, which are rival tribes, but when they drew up these countries, and they did this in the Middle East too, they never considered the geographic locations. Like they just carved it up for their own interest.
Yeah.
It would be like, okay, you start in a neighborhood in South Central and you just carve it right, and you include gangs. Like you are including people. Yeah, they never was on the same boat. Now they're in the same country. And so this is like the Rwanda thing. Rwanda has played a major part in instigating this violence. But they had their own genocide 20 years ago. Hotel Rwanda, you should actually see the movie. It's a good movie.
A great movie.
But now Rwanda is the tech capital of Africa, right? But they've also played a major part in destabilizing Congo, which is their next door neighbor. Yeah. And their natural resources are right there. Congo was originally taken over by the Belgium. The only thing I think about Belgium is the waffles. But you know, it's crazy because King Leopold from when
no monarchs, nothing, just the waffles.
I mean, what have they done?
I'm not a historian.
No disrespect, but King Leopold, he killed 12 million people in Congo.
Yes.
So it's crazy to see, like I said, literally the richest place in the world be the poorest place in the world.
Yeah. Going back to the American dream, because it also, if you are allowing that to happen, then you can export all the property and resources to help build our tech in the valley which is slowly decaying, and we're not having the same innovation. That's why I keep saying we're in a geopolitical and global war. So our BRICS is really important.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So all you guys just understand that there is some level of privilege that we have. And like I said, we apologize about the audio for Market Mondays. We'll try to never have that happen again. But you're
Get
watching.
over it. I'm gonna say it. Let me be the bad guy. You can't. Get over it. Gave you Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple. I told Stock Club, hey, Microsoft and TikTok, you may have a little relationship. Come on, man. Like, what else do you want? If the audio went off in 15 minutes, if you ain't been listening the last 5 years, you deserve to be poor.
You deserve to
That's
be
on
poor.
you. What else do you want? They called a damn election before they called it publicly. Like, stop bitching over things that are so small. But the care and lover in me is going to say thank you guys for tuning in every week. Happy to be back next Monday. But y'all being some black Karens over something so small.
But okay, like, we'll try our best to make sure that never happens again. Mistakes happen, and we take full responsibility for it. But just understand that you're still privileged to you're complaining about audio, but it's a free show first and foremost. But you're watching it from a device that there's millions of people that's actually died for you to have this technology in your hand. So,
and not to take any money on the back end like the colonizers do and do 4 and 40. Come on, man.
I mean, we got to be grateful. Life is about gratitude, right?
Yeah.
It's a blessing that you're even able to know that there's no sound, because there's millions of people that have never even heard of Market Mondays. Their last concern in the world is the stock market. They could give a fuck about Nvidia's stock price going up when they fighting for survival and trying not to get killed by the morning. That's their number one concern. They don't have any concerns about stock options or Nvidia or index funds. That's not even in their level of comprehension. So just to have that ability is a blessing. To have the ability to be discomforted by not having audio for a certain amount of time is actually a blessing, because if that's your highest level of discomfort for the day, that's a blessing.
Life is great. Life is great at that point. So
yeah,
but enjoy it.
Okay. What else?
The audience, and we're not too big to be above reproach and all of that other bullshit y'all be saying.
No. It's, like I said, we apologize for the audio, but it's some people just went a little too far in the comments. That's all. For sure. It's just it just keep things in perspective. Like,
Well, or let me, y'all, hey, yo, when you go do your 20 for 25 stock pick of the year? I'm not Stock Club only. What now? What? Or give me 50%. It's not IONQ. I promise you that.
Like, so I see somebody like Market Mondays exposed. They're not live.
Oh, gotcha. You're 3 years late, or however many years.
I go too far.
I'm beating everybody else who live on any program, nationally or internationally. See or no? Okay.
You're going too far, man.
Some of y'all not live in y'all relationships.
That's a fact. You're dead.
They are not. Financially or not, bedroom or not, dead weight.
Oh man.
So
all right. What else? What else you want to cover before we bring Nick on?
Target is done with DEI and black products. Should we continue to support Target, or is it over?
Oh, I don't shop in Target. Me personally.
I mean,
I don't, but they are carrying our book, so shout out to Target for that. But I have
the email will come through after further review.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, flag on the play. TV timeout. Hey, if you do, coach, let me get breathing, dude. Never mind. Wait till week 8.
Week 8.
But y'all think anyone affected by that? Tabitha Brown, friend of the show, all the great creators and that are there. But yeah, we'll tackle this at a later date. You have to know when to address things. One thing Kendrick did do well against my guy, the timing of each attack was really important. He didn't say nothing else. Attacked, waited, attacked. Sometimes you need to know when to hit pause on the nuclear bomb. So
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably talk about it later on the show too. But I have a philosophy when it comes to boycotting. That
okay.
I have a philosophy, but like I said, we'll probably talk about it later. But I do have a philosophy when it comes to boycotting. That I am not a huge fan of boycotting, but I'll explain it before
Okay.
everybody's gonna get in the comments like, "Oh,
You're some slows.
yeah."
Y'all want the people to lose the bag over y'all stupidity. No. Shout out to Langley and whoever else and Bilderberg. And, okay. You see, Larry Fink got to walking fast in Davos.
That's a fact. Cutting through
Everything's
cars.
not worth losing your life over.
Cut through cars. Okay. What else? What else is there? Yeezy's back a billionaire.
I mean, he always was, but once again, a strategy that people use is to demonize an asset to lower the values so that they can buy for cheaper. Meanwhile, Adidas is still taking all of his IP and acting like those aren't his designs. But kudos to Kanye for being resilient and claiming his throne, no pun intended, again. Hell of a turnaround.
Yeah, shout out to Ye, man. Shout out to Ye. I see Jim Jones out there right now with him, Justin LeBoy.
Yep.
Shout out to the guys.
Making some moves. I see it. Bully coming soon.
Bully's on his way.
Yeah.
Bully is on the way. Okay. Okay. Let's do one more before we bring Nick up. How do we feel about Elon Musk how do we feel about, do you think Elon Musk altered his genetic code?
Something's going on. Because my man was glitching at that inauguration. So
He's glitchy. He's very glitchy. He's very glitchy these days.
maybe the Neuralink caused him to do the Nazi salute. Oh, that's the good. And in terms of service, they didn't do the right update. So that caused the spurt in racism. But I think Elon, as well as a few other politicians, there's a few politicians that are older that are looking more youthful and more vibrant than they used to be. So, but what do you think in conspiracy land?
It wouldn't surprise me. He has not aged physically if you look at him in like 10 years. Elon he gotta be like 50 something years old?
Yeah, probably.
He's able to operate at unusual levels, meaning like he's running 5 companies simultaneously while running government Doge, while running the country, while going to Europe, while going to Canada and trying to run their countries and their continents. And then on Twitter all day and finds time to repost. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's glitching. If you watch that thing where he was just like, he just started.
Either
like,
he got a bad batch of Molly or he was doing a software update in real time, but something was happening.
I would say this. I don't know for sure, obviously, but if he has a company where they're able to put chips in your side of your brain and make a paralyzed person move their arms and legs again, I would think he probably has something to either reverse engineer the aging process or to make himself immortal. It's not out of the realm of possibility to think that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I'll wait till after the book cycle done so I can go into my theory about a couple of presidents and stuff like that. So yeah.
Allegedly.
T-shirts
coming soon. Allegedly merch coming soon. All right. So this is gonna be a good episode. We got our guy Nick Cannon coming on. Then we're gonna bring some callers on at the end of the show as well for the first time we're doing that. So without further ado, let's bring up the legend himself,
esteemed
guest, Nick Cannon. Yo, what's good?
Yeah, good.
Nick, what's poppin'?
Chilling, man. I got this like on one of them new joints that when I moved, it moved with me. So
you on the iPad? Yeah.
It's like the sensor thing.
Yeah. So hopefully I ain't messing too much up. But in the office, trying to come up with a master plan to take over the world.
I love it.
First and foremost, thank you, man. Thank you for taking some time to have this convo with us, man.
No doubt, man. I mean, it's long overdue, but y'all know how I feel about y'all. Don't even need to be said. It's highest class of civilization. We creating good energy and synergy right now.
That's a fact. So this show was designed to have a look like this is like our app show. So it's opinion based. We talk about different topics that usually are out of like just the general financial topics that we talk about. So just wanted to kind of it's a few. I want to start with this of content creators, right? Because we see a lot of things happening in the content space where it seems like there's no guardrails. There's no guardrails. You could say anything, and it's really kind of going off the deep end of how it originally started. Like now we're starting to see like starting to become dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. And high profile platforms as well. What's your thoughts on like content creators, the space in 2025?
Truth is a new currency. Authenticity is the new currency. I mean, even in the worlds when you start tapping into what crypto is all about, where multiple people can validate one entity. If multiple people can validate someone's content or someone's story, then that becomes the truth, and that's where people go to the source to get the truth. And content creators right now, there's a lot of fraudulent content that we just soak it up. I mean, you guys that's why you're so valuable. That's why your content is so rich and you have such a dedicated audience, is because you're offering real solutions, real conversation about specifically a lot of times finance, or even when it comes to inspiration. And it's a trusted source. It's about what we all know what branding is. It's like that's all about trust. When you can go somewhere and say, I know I'm gonna get the truth, I know I'm gonna get authenticity from this place, then you have a higher value, because there's so much fraudulent information out there and no one cares. Because as much as I say truth and authenticity is the real currency right now, it's so much information and we all have access to it that we don't know how to shift through, and people are still making their bones with just lies. Like you'll literally see something with AI and you'll be like, yo, I could have swore I just saw such and such do such and such with such and such, and it's completely fraudulent, but it got all the clicks and the likes that it needed. All the clickbait actually occurred, and AI is only going to get better with that. So there's going to have to be authentication process that actually, I don't know what it is. Somebody can get really rich off of it to figure out how to say what is the actual truth, what is the true authenticity about it. So that's what I actually, not to be long-winded, but that's where I see everything going when it comes to content creation, because it's so much out there. No one knows how to curate. And then ultimately the thing that's the most important is no one knows how to say, this is the truth. This is what actually happened, or this is how it was. And like even all the way into our political system, and we're so comfortable as a society being lied to. We have no problem being lied to until we actually hear the real truth. And that's everything. Like I said, that's everything from politics to religion to how we're entertained. It's almost like we're good with being lied to. So when we can actually hear the real truth, that's the most valuable, scenario when it comes to content.
But what do you say to the entertainer? Because I know you get this all the time. An artist, an entertainer, content creator. Nick, I want to be lit. I want to get paid. So they go the Akademiks or Adam 22 route. Can you talk to us about taking the long path to building like a sustainable kingdom that you've built versus the clickbaity, fly by night, super salacious type of entertainment content that's out there now?
Man, I think that comes from character and integrity at the end of the day. And then shouts out to all my, I rock with Adam and Pack and all of them heavy, Whack 100 is my man. Like, and when it comes to even when it comes to
I like Whack.
Yeah. When it comes to how I'm entertained, I love all the salaciousness. I'm paying attention. I got to. I'm part of the pop culture zeitgeist, on multiple levels. So I don't knock what people do, but if you're asking, personally, me, it all comes down to character and integrity. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me, man, if it's not the truth, I don't want it to come out of my mouth. So in that sense, I value taking the time to say, you won't hear something come from me unless I truly know it, unless I've studied it, unless I understand it. And even in the past, I've made the mistake of, like, sometimes I go back and I look at some of my old Vlad TV interviews or stuff. So I'm like, man, why did I say that? Or how did I let them bait me into have that conversation about this? So you live and you learn. But now I definitely feel like I'm in that space to where, respect to everybody else who just, want to be the first. I'd rather be the one that is taking my time and giving you the authentic perspective of whatever we're talking about.
Quick question for you. I don't think you get the respect you deserve as a mogul. I want to give you your flowers for being not only great entertainer, but great executive producer. Everyone always has amazing things to say about you behind the scenes. What's on your 2025 plans? And for those who are looking to aspire to the moguldom that you've achieved, what are some of the hard lessons that you had to go through to be able to get to where you are today?
Man, great question. Appreciate the love as well. It's an exciting time in all industries, but even in the entertainment industry right now, because there's more autonomy than ever before. And I say that to say that you don't have to sit around and wait for anybody. So that's excited me in such a way. So funny because I've done traditional media in such a for so long, for decades at this point, that TV, film, those things don't excite me as much. I mean, I'm still doing them. I'm still producing, maybe half a dozen television shows that we rocking with currently. I probably got about 2 or 3 movies that we're gonna do this year as well. But I'm so more energized about digital and everything that I'm doing in this space, and even learning from y'all. And like, it's just because the autonomy and the immediacy that you can get and the amount of business. I mean, we're watching the business shift into, the digital content faster than ever before. So I'm excited about all my various visual podcasts. I'm excited about all of the content we're doing, that I'm building platforms for others. The Wild 'N Out brand is still growing strong, but it's even shifting that from linear television to the digital space. I mean, we're still currently, even with all that's going on, and we're still Paramount / Viacom's #1 digital brand, far beyond all of the networks and everything. Is just the power what the Wild 'N Out brand is, and diversifying that obviously into the great touring business that we have, because once your audience with you, they with you on every platform and everywhere you go. So just taking Wild 'N Out to another level, and knowing that's something that I created and owned since I was a young man, and 20 years later it's still thriving and probably just as vibrant than ever before.
So let me ask you this. It is blackout, so we do talk about topics that are kind of taboo. So this is an economic conversation too. I feel like the benefit of polygamy, right? Wake it up. So when the benefit of polygamy, as far as so there's a lot of single. Let's talk about just the black, right? There's a lot of single women, and there's more women than men. That's a act. Then you start looking at incarceration. You start to look at people who choose not to be with a woman, right? You that might not preference, right? Then you look at people that are not financially able to take care of so different variables with it. The pool starts to go like this, right? So it's like, you know, essentially because people will be so much against polygamy, but they would have no problem being a side chick.
Right.
So what is your thoughts on that topic? Obviously, that's something that you might have.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to answer that question, man. And it's funny because I wouldn't even say I practice polygamy. I mean, I respect it, but I think my situation is very unique and very common at the same time. I just live my life in such an outward way that, you know, I have nothing to hide. And, you know, I think that's even why a lot of it works, because I'm not trying to mislead anybody or, you know, God, more than anything, I'm just trying to be the best father I can possibly be. But to your point, I mean, you made some outstanding points when it comes to, like, it's just basic mathematics at the end of the day. But I also, you know, I'm not your average individual where the things that I strive for in life and the things that I've already done, I've done the traditional things that people consider success, even when it comes to personal and professional. So I've done the monogamous traditional marriage relationship, and it was amazing. And you know, like I said, I did it at the highest level. I married my dream girl, and you know, I'm you know, 7 years strong with Mariah Carey, twins, and no complaints. Still, you know, family just as close today as, you know, day one. So when it comes to how I deal with life after marriage, I'm in a place to where I wanted more family. I wanted more children and had no problem saying, you know, finding individuals who wanted the same things that I wanted. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, long as you can connect with people that say, oh, I'm willing to live the lifestyle in which you live and operate the same way that you operate, and your life is suitable for my life. And then when you can focus and say that you want to do it with children together, that's how I would define my scenario. Like, people that say we are very comfortable and happy with raising our children in this environment and in this way. And, you know, they will be, there's not a care or want in the world when it comes obviously to the financial aspect of it. But then it's also, I try to be super dad. You know what I mean? I'm literally, as soon as I get off with y'all, I got to go pick, you know, 4 kids up from school. You know, like that's as a 40-something-year-old man right now, that's what I enjoy and aspire to be, because a lot of my other life challenges I've accomplished, and I feel like now I'm in my lineage stage to where it's like all I could do is pass on and build platforms and share, you know, this tribal mentality with, you know, with my offspring. But everybody can't do what I do, so I get it. So I understand why people don't understand it and wouldn't even, you know, want to rock with it, because it is, to be honest, it is a lot easier to be in society to be a side chick than it is to be in a scenario where you have to openly say, I don't desire the traditional relationship or marriage, because we're taught to desire that. Specifically, women are taught to, you know, desire that from infancy, from playing with Barbie dolls and baby dolls. Like, so, and the disposition of even what a woman is supposed to be has changed over the years, because, you know, now women don't need us in that same sense. So as that whole, oh, I'm gonna marry somebody and be his this and his that, those concepts have been deleted for so many people that, you know, now we get to redefine. And then it's like, who's to say this person isn't happy or this person? So I wouldn't even classify it as polygamy, but to me it's just, you know, trying to make it work for whatever the circumstances you desire.
I always wanted to ask you this. What do you think of the criticism that you receive for said lifestyle, but no one ever mentions Elon and his 12 kids? You don't have to comment directly on him, but every time I see something go up on Shade Room or Hollywood Unlocked, no one ever mentions him or those in that class that are doing the same thing.
The Clint Eastwood. Clint got me beat.
Talk about it. There's a bunch of them that just go unscathed. When George Clooney was a bachelor, nobody said a word.
Yeah. Nah, you know what? I think it is probably too. It's just if I'm being real, like I could go to the place where it's like, oh, they try to beat the black man down and focus on what. I don't even think it's really any of that. I think honestly, when it comes to, I live my life in such an open way that I welcome the conversation and the criticism. And we live in, like I said, we live in a social media content world. So we open I don't think you would find, a podcast or a conversation where Elon was just so openly talking about his family structure. You know what I mean? And I, all the mothers of my children, I allow them to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? So you might see somebody on a podcast, you might see somebody on a reality show, you might see, some people choose to live a quiet life and not talk about it. But I feel like as having, partnerships to where I think a lot of other people are trying to protect their image. I'm not one of them dudes. You know what I mean? I live my life in an authentic way, and I welcome conversation. I welcome criticism. So, and it's just who we are. You know what I mean? As a people, we are very opinionated about what others are doing. So I'm one of the people that are very comfortable with having the conversation, and most of the time I don't take myself seriously. So you'll see me joke about it. You'll see, and I think for like I said, whatever criticism or whatever opinions people have, one thing that no one will ever say is that I don't love my kids. So,
I think to me that's something that's a teachable moment, because it's like, we have these conversations, but I honestly think that what you're doing, the part that's missing is the education behind it. Like you said, it's not totally like a unique situation. There are people with, multiple mothers of their children, multiple children, but the thing that you've been able to do is actually keep the peace, and you're a great father. And so my question is, because people can learn from this, right? It's a teachable moment. How are you able to relay this message to get the understanding and to maintain this level of peace where, you're not, we don't see you in tabloids for messy nonsense. Like you're with your kids. How are you getting everybody on the team to kind of understand that, this is for the betterment?
I think it's probably the thesis and the theme of this conversation, man. Authenticity. I was in that. I used to have that fuck boy mentality of like, where the narcissistic ego, like I'ma only do what I want to do, and which leads to manipulation and dishonesty, to where even I still struggle even with the omission process, because like even when you what you omit is just as much of a lie as if you told somebody a truth. So in that sense, I'm like, the more authentic you can be from day one. I've been able to do that with everyone that I have children with. And, you have growing pains and challenges all the time, but it's like, look, I set the intention. This is what I'm looking to do. This is how I'm living my life. And we can find a space, even if we're not necessarily agreeable, then we'll figure it out. In therapy, obviously, I'm a huge practitioner of that. They have this theory called the Gottman theory. It's a couple, they kind of put this thing together, and they created this thing called the 4 horsemen, which you've heard that tale for ages. But it's like the 4 things that you want to stay away from when, in therapy, everyone having a disagreement. And a lot of it is, it starts with like criticism. Yeah. So if you can get into discourse, or even figure out how to find a solution with if you're having challenges without with instead of starting with criticism, like this is the problem, you're doing this and you're doing that from both ends. But if you start with a compliment instead, and then talk about addressing the challenges. So I try every scenario is like, you know what I really appreciate? I really appreciate how down you've been. I really appreciate how understanding you've been. I really appreciate how compassionate you've been up until this point. And I understand how challenging this world can be, but this is what I've noticed, or this is what I'm currently feeling. How can I work on that? And then when you can communicate like that as adults with somebody, you can get past everything. And if the common ground is being the best parent you can possibly be, or doing what's right for the children, you always gonna get to the right solution because you're trying to do what's right for what you love the most. So removing ego, removing all that, and that it took a lot for me as somebody who's literally a diagnosed narcissist. Like it took a lot to remove that ego and say, like, all right, this is how you communicate. Because even if you are the provider, even if you are the breadwinner, even if you are the one that sets the rules and all of that stuff, you got to come from a place of empathy and compassion, especially when it's like, yo, clearly we are broken souls trying to figure it out, looking to heal, and then when things become even more challenging, man, you all want the same solution. Everybody just wants to feel good. Everybody just wants to be happy and alleviate, as many issues and problems as possible. So if I can do that based off of who I am and what I can provide, then that's the goal.
As men, we don't talk about it enough, but leading with ego can lead to chaos. Like, how long did it take you to overcome leading with ego? And for all the men who are struggling with it still, like, what advice can you give them? Because a lot of times it can lead to, even in business, we see it all the time, conflicts. Like, I hate the Jim and Cam situation, but I think in our community, we don't have enough conversations about how to handle conflict. So can you guide us through the process of removing ego?
As y'all know, sometimes leading with ego leads to success. Yeah. It's just that you got to know how to control your ego. Sometimes I'm on my narcissistic shit. I am the best of the best. I am the one that you got to come. I'm him when I be that. You know what I mean? But in parenting, my ego can't come home. Yeah, let's go. I gotta leave my ego in the car. I gotta leave my ego on the flight. The ego stay on the jet. And luckily for someone like myself and other, business leaders, and we have outlets. You should have your egotistical outlet. A lot of time, that's why athletes, once they get the understanding, you can leave it all on the field. You could be the best of the best. You could be him on the field. You ain't got to be him at home. You know what I mean? So that's where I found the equanimity and the balance in. I got so many places for my ego to be fed. You step on that wild and out stage, I'm the nigga. I'm the one. I'm gonna roast you. I'm gonna give you everything you need because I'm him there. But in that sense where I'm, when I'm in therapy, when I'm dealing with mental wellness, when I'm dealing with in the community, I'm trying to be the most meek individual I can possibly be. So I think specifically in business, and it's a business practice as well, knowing that you have to have having the confidence to know who you are, to when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And that's actually helped me so many relationships, from my marriage down to, even with my kids. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable enough to be small right now. I'm comfortable enough to be compassionate right now, when even though I could turn the ego thing on in my way or the highway, or I'm projecting onto you what I'm the leader, I'm the boss. Like, a lot of times the real bosses don't even have to let you know. You know what I mean? They just let the energy out. Yeah,
that's what I always say. A leader never has to tell anybody to follow him. Before you leave, I know you gotta go, but another teachable moment. You just said something. I heard you say it before, but you said you're a narcissist. Like you discovered that you're a narcissist, right? Yeah. Like that's interesting to hear you say, because that takes a lot of self-awareness to even admit that. How did you come to that realization, and how have you been able to overcome that? Because obviously, you got relationships with your kids, you got relationships with your kids' mothers, you got relationship with your employees, you got a relationship with wilding out. Like you're a people person. So
Yeah.
how have you been able to overcome that?
Years and years of therapy, but as we know, like hearing the word over and over again being projected onto you, because most of the time, this is one thing I learned too. Most of the time, people who are throwing the word narcissist should also be receiving the word narcissist.
That's a fact. That they be the biggest narcissists. They be the biggest one.
But we got to really break. So what I wanted to really understand it. You know what I mean? Because again, in therapy, if you're diagnosed with something, you have to figure out, in order to rid yourself of the characteristics, you have to first accept it. And so once it kept being thrown at me, and I was like, man, I'm a compassionate person. I feel like I'm empathetic. Like, how is this? And it's clearly it's a spectrum. But if you're really going to do it, because most people have never actually truly been diagnosed with it, it's like 2-3 hour sessions of testing, like 6, like on separate occasions. They have you questionnaires, you fill things out, they interview you, and it's personality types. And in that spectrum, the one end of the spectrum is confidence, which we instill, which in a black man, we embody it. You know what I mean? Like we start, like we already a few notches ahead of the average person, just because we just in nature confident people. But then it gets from confident to arrogant to overly arrogant, and then you get to a space of narcissist, where if you understand even the original story, it's a level of self-love that is delusional to a point where it becomes damaging to others, because you love yourself so much that you see no one else. And I feel like I'm at that point where I love myself more than anything, and self-preservation has been my survival mode on many occasions. But now I'm at a place where I make sure that I acknowledge and see others. And so from that, I've learned that I don't have rage issues. Like that's usually a byproduct of narcissism, is people, if they don't get their way, they flipping tables over, they cursing, they yelling. That's never been my thing, because I can get my way most of the time. So like I'm more of the narcissist that I've lived in that manipulative space, to where I'm gonna manipulate the situation to get what I want. And like I said, there's levels to it. But the one thing that I hold true to, that I've always been, is compassionate, is empathetic, because I do care about others. But I can be honest, I probably care about myself a lot more at times, and that's what I have to work on. And one thing as parents is probably the greatest lesson of where I've had to remove all ego and narcissism, because to become a parent, the situation in the world the family structure that I've created was created most likely out of narcissistic choices. But now that I'm here, I have to no longer operate in that. And like one of the greatest lessons I learned in parenting when it comes to narcissism is that as parents, we're often told, or think the right decision is that our children are a reflection of us. But that's a narcissistic thought. That's narcissistic. No, more than anything, their reflection, or we're reflections of them, or even not, or even more. I'll change the word from reflection, that they're an extension of us. That you must do what I say, or I created you, or you go to the school that I want you to go to, or you follow in my legacy. Those are all narcissistic thoughts, but we're taught that's what we're supposed to do as parents, when really we're supposed to listen and learn from them, because they're going to go beyond and take things further than we ever could. So therefore, we're supposed to be the extensions of them. And once I grasped that concept, I was like, oh, wow. So if my son doesn't want to do what I think he should do, or my daughter doesn't want to go to the school I'm not going to punish them or be mad at them or cut them off, or because they didn't do what I said do, especially when they're reaching ages of where they're making their own decisions. Now I'm allowing them to show me, and that's where I'm learning, like, oh, I would have made the narcissistic choice to be like, it's my way or the highway. You do what I say. Because I've never really been that in relationships, but I'm thinking to be the best father, I got to be an authoritative father. when it's more or authoritarian more than authoritative. So in that sense of you set the base, and if you do your job correctly, you won't ever have to force your children to do something. They're just going to do it because they've watched you do the right thing for so many years. So that's why I ended in that sense of saying, like, I used to think I would say my children are my legacy, but that's a narcissistic thought. Your children aren't your legacy. Your legacy is the things that you do. Your legacy, or wilding out could be my legacy. The hospitals and schools that we build are your legacy. Your children are your lineage. They take what you do, and through your lineage, you carry on your legacy.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond, and they make it greater, because your legacy ends with you. You know what I mean? Your lineage carries it on. So that's kind of the whole, that's my lessons in narcissism. And I'm so glad that, I was able to have the self-awareness and do the work to understand that now I can grow, because it's like somebody says they're an alcoholic. You got to acknowledge that an alcoholic is an alcoholic for life. But they don't have to be a victim of alcoholism. So in that sense of, like, I can acknowledge that what my innate creature is. I'm full of that swag of, like, yo, I'm overly confident, I'm arrogant, but I know how to remove that when it comes to dealing with people.
My final question for you, going back to the legacy point, is I think going around in the entrepreneurship community, do you think legacy is overrated?
I think based off of even what I just said, because I think as gentlemen of a certain age, it's just innate in us. We start thinking about, what am I leaving behind? And when we're seeing, I'm pretty sure you probably saw it, in the Caesar times and all of that stuff too. But now we see it at such a level with a president like Trump, who all of our lifetime has been putting his names on buildings,
everything. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's success. That's what you strive to be. So now we think, true success is building the biggest legacy. Like, what they gonna say when you're not here, or what you leaving behind, how are you letting it know? But I think if we shift it, and like I said, lineage is one thing, but also it's like, they're not gonna care about how much money you made when it's all said and done. They're gonna wonder, what did you do for others? If that becomes your legacy, I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you're chasing humanity, if you're chasing, compassion, and that becomes your legacy, then that's dope. But if your legacy is like brick and mortar, or your legacy is what's in your bank account, you're gonna quickly find out that there's no happiness in that.
Nick, my brother, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt. I'm glad we got to actually finally make it happen. It was so my day is so busy. I was like, yo, I'm literally like locked in. I can make sure we had this conversation, because I know how important it is.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
No doubt.
Thank you, dearly, man.
All right.
All right, bro. Shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nick, man. Good brother.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's solid my guy, man.
Solid business person, super punctual.
I already know what y'all gonna say. Yo, y'all didn't push them hard enough on, like, yo, it's not to attack somebody's personal life. I was interested as far as the question. I think he answered it very eloquently, but like you said, you don't see Elon Musk talking about his personal life like that. So just to even open up about it,
or Trump. Man, Trump buried his ex-wife in his backyard and got tax incentives, and y'all voted his ass right back in office.
Yeah.
Like, what?
For sure. But I think that he made a good point as far as, like, that the narcissism might have caused some of situations that happen, but dealing with the narcissism, handling it, keeps the situation together, right? Like, so how something starts doesn't mean that's how it ends. Because if he would have probably stayed a narcissist, then it probably wouldn't be as smooth as it is now.
Yeah, kudos to him for adapting. You can tell he's done the work in the intake forms and questionnaires, and
that's a fact.
It takes a level of humility to want to do better, given how long he's been in the limelight and how much success he's amassed. So, Nick Cannon was the first person I saw in the club when they get the walkthrough back. Dame time, 59 minutes, 22 seconds. I said, damn, P, he getting up already? No extras. Y'all paid me for an hour? When Uno order hits, my man was in a sprinter, out of here. A lot of great lessons on how to carry yourself. So
that's a fact, man. 2022, 2021 was he was busy those years for sure.
For sure.
That's the
For sure.
LeBron golden era. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna do a special segment that we have not done before, where we're gonna take live calls from the audience. So we talked about this last week. So this will be the first week that we're actually doing this. So first call, let's bring Prince up if we can. Troy.
Shout out Prince.
What's up?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, family?
Man, good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You know, maintaining, working.
Where you from?
Chicago.
Hey, man, what's love?
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Nah, man. Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Chrissy. Shout out to Ross. Shout out to the whole family. Man, much love to y'all. Make sure y'all go get You Deserve to Be Rich. I was just happy to let you know, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, first and foremost, for having me come up, and just everything that y'all do for the culture. It is not without love, and just thank y'all. And you, Troy. Walk on, Troy.
Wow.
Troy, yep.
Yeah.
The other T-Roy, ain't it?
Yeah. But no, we get right to it. So my question for y'all, and you can be as raw as you want, with the policies that's in effect right now, with the way things are going right now, how are we going to be able to grow the Black economy? Like, is it we play ball, or do we have to go another route?
I mean, that's a good question for sure. I think a lot of people have that concern right now. Yeah. My personal opinion is that we have to support each other. I know that's kind of a cliche thing, but when you look at business at the highest level, it's done through cooperation. So, of course, we do have to, quote unquote, play ball. I mean, we're not in a situation where we can just, create our own situation and not participate in the economy at all. But I think that, you really have to look at collaboration on the highest level, on the smallest level. So on the highest level, we need our billionaires to start working together to create different type of companies. We need the venture capital. I mean, we talked about this before with Black billionaires, but like we have venture capital firms. We need more super PACs. We need more. Like we got to really hone in. And then on the smaller macro level, we got to make sure that we support our businesses. We need the mom and pop grocery stores. We need those type of outlets where we can actually, have some level of economic empowerment, because my whole thing is even talking about the boycott of Target, right? It's like boycotts are good, support is better. So it's like a boycott of Target is not a bad idea, but what would be better is if we had our own store and we would patron that store either in person or online, right? Then all of that money is going away from Target anyway. But the thing about a boycott is that it's not sustainable.
Yep.
Right. It's like it only lasts for what, like a week, a month. If it's a really good boycott, a couple of months at best. But it's like they negotiate with you. They come to some sort of understanding, and then you right back to spending your money with them again. That's why I never really got into the boycott thing too much, because I never really understood it. I understand like power. Boycotting something is just in the moment. Like when you actually got something that you could support forever, like that's something that's powerful, right? So I think that support goes a lot further than boycotts. But I feel like in this day and age, like we talk about that all the time, but if we're not willing to actually buckle down and work with each other and support each other, then it's not going to happen. Ian, what you think about it?
I agree. Even in the bus boycotts, the interesting part is that the issue was equality was wanted, but at the same time, when equality and integration happened and blacks were able to sit on white buses, the black buses that were there and doing well went out of business. So even inside the integration, it was actually the disruption of our economy through integration. Being from the Midwest, you get this. it's hard for us to work together, man. Like you'll see different sides of Chicago, Northwest Indiana have a melting pot of talent, and it will take forever to come together. The solution for sure at scale is working together. That's why I appreciate you being here tonight. Whether your voice, your question, your support. But if we don't support each other, like even with this, like let's take all the news from DeepSeek. No one was talking about this company 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Now it's international news. It's a startup. For those who don't know, it's a paid PR campaign to make them be on the scene. And I think we can do the same thing with ours. But people will always say, well, blacks aren't a monolith, but racism is. So until we come together, no change will come about.
I agree. Last thing for me, I said that I had this conversation with Black Men Smile. I met them at Waymakers, and they were one of the big companies that came in on the Black History Month when they were doing the initiatives. And I was like, the realistic thing is, it's easier for me to go in and say, I'm just going to target Black businesses, even if it is in Target, because you don't have the infrastructure. You don't have anything to replace Walmart. You don't have anything to replace Amazon. Like, what you really gonna do? And when it comes down to, are you really ready for that type of backlash that MLK and them faced? Like, because they was ready, they was prepared for dog. They was prepared for all of that.
Yeah.
And if you come on, Black people, I love y'all. This is a Black-owned brand right now. You know, the book, everything is a Black-owned brand on me right now. But I just know until we really prepared and ready, there's a way we have to walk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And it also goes back to social media. I think social media is a gift and a curse, but it's also kind of made us a lot more divided, because now everybody, like when MLK was doing it, everybody wasn't agreeing with MLK, but it wasn't broadcasted 24 hours a day. So everybody, so it's like, now, like we say, okay, NNDI is bad. Then you're gonna have a whole group of people that's like, no, NNDI is a good thing. And then they're gonna be fighting on social media and they in the shade room. And so it's like, all right, we're gonna say like, all right, we're gonna boycott Target. And then there's gonna be a bunch of social media like, no, why are we gonna boycott Target? That don't make no sense. Da, 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 da. So it's just really difficult right now because social media has made it hard for any form of unification, right?
For
like
sure.
everybody is their own leader. Everybody got their own points of view. Everybody's got, you know, in order to actually have some level of unification, you need some level of leadership, right?
You have
and
to have it.
we have a problem respecting leadership. We have a problem with that off the rip. And it's just difficult. So it's a gift and a curse because it's giving people a voice. That's important. But it's also just created a bunch of like fighting. Like it's just like nonstop fighting, right? It's like shade room on steroids for everything. Political, economics, food. You can't say nothing without getting 10,000 comments, positive, negative, fighting with each other. So that really makes it hard when you're trying to, you know, unify people for boycott. And then like we can't even boycott things that are like Gucci, right? Where we don't have to wear Gucci. That didn't even work. So Target, where people really use Target, stuff like that, like, you know, it's a tall task. It's a tall order. So I'm always for shifting the mindset of boycott to support, boycott to build. Like the boycott thing is cool, but that's only works because you know that you really need that company. If you know that you don't need that company. So for instance, the finance, let's say, I didn't say that they do this, we got a relationship with them. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if CNBC or Wall Street Journal, let's say that they did something that was against the Black community, right? And then it'd be like, Black people be like, yo, I'm not watching CNBC anymore. Well, what would be better than that is what we did, right? We built the platform from the beginning. We gave an alternative. We speak in an authentic voice. We highlight Black entrepreneurs and Black investors. We do events where Black patrons come and Black entrepreneurs can sell their products. So that's not like, we're not going against. Earn Your Leisure wasn't birthed out of don't support CNBC. You could watch CNBC. Earn Your Leisure was built we don't have anything that really focuses on our issues and our voice in a business manner at the highest level, at the lowest level, for every single person, the person that just graduated from high school to the person that's a Fortune 500 CEO. We need something, right? So that was the idea. That's the thesis behind it. People support it. right? I think that model has worked better for us. As if we would have said, okay, we're not going to watch CNBC until you get a black correspondent on main time television.
Yeah.
Because it's still the same structure, right? It's still, like I said, no disrespect to them, but it's still the same. You fighting it for a small incremental change, but it's still the same power structure, right? The voice is not going to change. They're not going to just bring on 1 million black entrepreneurs. They're not going to just start giving so it's like we're fighting for small nuanced things, like the ability to be on the aisle, the ability, like we fought for the ability to ride the bus, the ability to go to a restaurant. That's a nuanced thing in the grand scheme of things. We didn't boycott, and I no disrespect to him. Okay, I'm just saying, like, but we didn't boycott to make sure we got beef from black farmers, right? The boycott was for us to sit at the table.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
And I'll say that too. Stop asking for seats at tables that do not want us to dine there. No pun intended. Everybody was like, how can we integrate into or break into? Build your own shit. Truth be told, and they're saying right now, because they're afraid, we don't want this inclusion when we get the least amount of capital in, we have to build on our own. And I know it's tough, and I know entrepreneurship is not easy. I was talking to somebody about this on Twitter the other day. I'm like, no Fortune 500 company is just handing out board seats just because they like us. Kendrick told they not like us. So go build your own table and stop complaining and make that thing so valuable. But once again, that takes unity. It takes us operating in unison. And truth be told, I don't think most of us want that. I think we want to be included in institutions who don't like us, don't love us, so we don't have to do the work and build on our own.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate y'all, man.
Oh, good, man. All right, that was our first.
And then when Kanye was going crazy on Mark Zuckerberg and everybody else, and everyone called him crazy, and then they demonized the asset to make the value go down. Now Kanye bounced back, or 2.7. I think that number is low. But look how he was demonized. Mark Parker, all the stuff with Nike, he was calling that out 8 years ago. Now it's like, oh, Kanye's prophetic. Well, yeah, he's prophetic after y'all tried to get him in the same situation Wendy Williams was in with the conservatorship play.
That's a fact.
Come on, man.
That's a fact. All right. So for the last caller, we got my guy, Shay, from our neighborhood on the call in. Shay Baby TV. What's up, my brother?
I'm here, man. Happy to be on here with you guys. You know, and my man, my man, you get it. Y'all definitely outside, man. 100%. I see y'all all over everywhere. This is family. 100%.
Shay, before we head out, man, I want one more because you outside. You got a real pulse of this. Let's get a question about relationship, because a lot of people ask us about like relationship, money, like the tricking epidemic is crazy. So
now you talking my language. Listen, I hate them type of dudes. I'm gonna get the. I'm on one. Can you smoke on here?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to roll up. But okay, so we're gonna get into it. Me, I don't like them type of dudes. They killed the game. I'm from the old school. Where I'm from, if you spent money on a female, you was a goofy. Bottom line. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Wifey, yes. You know, mother to your kids, yes. But the whole, the relationship thing in 2025, I feel like it's dead because of that. You know what I mean? It's too much competition. It's too much Instagram. A chick is never gonna be happy these days. No offense, ladies. You know how I feel about the Shay Babies. But let's get to it.
What are the Shay Babies? Tell me more.
Oh, the Shay Babies is on my I do like morning and afternoon shows, on YouTube, of course. And the Shay Babies are the females, of course. You know what I mean? I got a lot of females on there that watch my show. I got a lot of energy, but they know I'm all for them because they killed me one day because I said to them, oh, you know what? I'm not sure if Diddy is innocent or not. They said, Shay, no, we're about to block you. So I said I will always protect the Shay Babies after that. You know what I mean?
So, but the thing about it is, here's the thing, though. If you're not tricking, somebody else will. So how do you feel about, like, if you're not tricking I'm not saying that that's right or you have to, but there's always a simp waiting in the wing. There's a simp waiting in the wing, waiting with binoculars on, studying Instagram with a Cash App open.
I mean, that's the name of the game, and that's what makes it dirty. See, that's why I call a lot of the shit that I do on Instagram the dirty side. These niggas is dirty, Rashad. You know, you got niggas all in girls. It's not even comfortable having a girl these days, my boy. You know what I mean? She's on Instagram. You know, let me tell you a little story. And, you know, the person that did that out there, you a scumbag and you know who you are. I'm going to tell you a little story. The time social media starts coming out, right? This is when Shay Baby decides to be a little player. So Shay starts running around, you know, doing his thing. Yo, I had niggas in my baby mother DM telling them all my moves. I see her showing up to the club. I see her showing up to here. Seeing her moving around. Instagram, Facebook, destroyed relationships for me. I'm not going to hold you. You just don't know what's going on these days. It's too easy to get access to anybody, man, dude. You know what I mean? Do you agree or do you not?
I agree. That's a fact. It's 1-800 Crime Stoppers. It's 1-800.
And there's no way of stopping it. The girls on social media, you know, you got to live with it. That's why always in the back of my mind, I've never ever cried over, you know, or like look through a female's I'm with phone, you know, and do things like that because I'm already prepared for this, man. You know, like I said, I came up from the 90s. I'm on some May shit. You want to hit niggas, girls, you got to expect them to, you know what I mean? I'm on the same wave. So yes, Rashad, I agree with you. It's nasty out here. And somebody's always going to have more bread than you. So you think you got a bad one? And you know she's about that Birkin, but you think, you know, you can only afford the $20,000 Birkin. What about the Birkin that costs $80? What about the Birkin that costs $70? You can't get that. But this nigga from India can. This nigga from Dubai can.
Eligibility?
Yeah, like Tom said.
Into the portal.
Long as she got eligibility, she gonna enter that portal. That's a fact. Yeah, you can tell I was ready to turn up, fam. I was ready. Yo, you got the right topic. You got the right topic, Sean. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't like it's tough for me out here. You know, girls say to me, Shay, why you got your guards up so much? Why? I say, why? Because I'm about this business right now. I already know what this is. See, a lot of these guys don't know this. The more motion, the more you can play these days. So you running around chasing chick, spending your last check on the shorty's red bottoms. Get your ass a business and get you some motion. You can sleep with the whole team. The whole team.
Keep your time out. Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. Flag on the plate. You cooking, but
oh shit.
you.
So yeah, so you know, it's tough these days to, you know, really get involved, you know, with these women because you don't know where they're coming from. And especially guys like you guys are around a different type of women.
Allegedly.
I mean, even in business-wise. No, I'm not talking about.
No, I got you.
I'm talking about the rooms you're in is different.
I got you.
The rooms you're in are very different. You know what I mean? And it makes it even harder. Now, I don't want to say no names, but I have celebrity friends that don't have relationships. You know why? Because they keep meeting chicks that's up here when realistically you're down here. You're not Shay Baby. You're not up here. You understand? So they always go for chicks that's up here, and it comes a problem because these chicks are like, you know, they're well groomed. You know what I'm saying? They're well groomed. So if you're not ready for that and you're not that type of guy, it's gonna be hard for you.
You're gonna be in trouble.
You're gonna be in trouble. They don't look for the guys that are hooked and groomed that just like them. Oh, not him. He knows too much. I can't rock with him. Yeah. He knows that he's gonna get, maybe if you're that bad, you might get one Birkin that's 50% off, and then you're out of there. They looking for more than that these days, my dude. They looking for businesses. Yeah. They looking for, you know what I mean? And if you get real deep, you might even have the baby. Now, this even goes back to even basketball players that are 20 years old dating chicks in their 40s. That's the nastiest work of nasty.
Time out. Let me use my second time out. Flag on the play. Friend of the show. Let's sponsored by. Hey, but he was smart to have it here in Texas. It's a cap on child support.
But it's the truth though. It's like, bro, it's like it even goes as far as even that. Like, you know, like me, I have a child. You know, so does Rashad. Rashad has a son. His son could potentially be playing basketball on the next level. He's a big child. You know what I'm saying? So him being a father, nowadays, you have to worry about 50-year-olds? What about the girls that are
you gotta impart the lessons early.
So fat.
So you bring your child out that's 19 to a grown function like a Rashad. He can bring his son to the White House with him. He has to worry about an 18 years old, a 55-year-old trying to have a baby by him. This is what we're in this world these days. They don't care. It's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a son and a daughter, and it's the worst. You know what I mean? But I do say it is 2025, and you know, these people out here, people might be tired also of the old tradition relationships, sitting home, being nobody, you know, for real. A lot of women
it's crazy, man.
They do. Until they in it for a while.
Nobody is crazy. Jay.
Yes.
Shay, I appreciate you, man. We got to do this again sometime, man.
Yeah, man. We gotta have you back on the show soon, yo.
For sure.
Yo, please, man. And you can see I'm ready for this at all times. And anybody that offended on here, women's, especially the Shay babies, like I said, there's no love lost. I've been waiting to this. Is funny. Rashad. Yo, congratulations on the book, man. When I'm gonna get one? When you gonna come on the show? Let me promote it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, I know I'm not Channel 7, Channel 2, you know, the morning shows, keep going to White House, where else? London. I understand that.
Breakfast Club, you know what I mean?
You know.
I got you.
We know. They got to ring the stock market bell. Exactly. Tom said you forgot to ring the stock market bell.
Stock market bell. So come.
Look. Tony's on it.
Hey.
That's a fact. Yo, thank you for having me, my boy.
Yo, I appreciate you, man.
100%.
Thank you.
Later.
All right. There you go.
That was fun.
Oh, man.
Shout out to everyone. All parties mentioned. You know, it's crazy when I'm like, who did we make in trouble for that one? I'm usually the one.
It's a couple of valid points though, as far as the 50-year-old, 20-year-old thing. I never really thought about it like that, but I mean, you're always thinking about standpoint of like, make sure the girl's 18, check for ID. Now you gotta look at to see like, damn, like in the inverse, right? On the upside,
the saber-tooth, they be out there.
Saber-tooth play crazy.
They be out there hunting, boy.
The saber-tooth play cougars. We never really talked about cougars on this show before.
We need
What's your thoughts on cougars?
Shout out to Houston Cougars. That's the actual logo, mascot of the team.
How old? What's the age gap to make a cougar?
Is it 15 years?
That's what it is.
I'm
40, so I feel like if I'm with a 50-year-old, that's a cougar. Not me personally. I'm just saying if a 40-year-old,
hypothetically,
hypothetically, if a 40-year-old,
I thought it was like a 15-year, but yeah, a 10-year gap could be. You know,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever been with somebody older than you?
No, I haven't.
Never in life.
No, I don't think so.
Wow, that's crazy.
No,
that's crazy.
I don't think so.
When I was younger, I used to like older girls, but not like 20 years older than me. Just like, you know, a few years older than me.
Oh, like a couple of years? Oh, I thought you meant like cougar. Oh, like
no, not cougar.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, okay, but you have been with people that's older than you before.
Yeah. I thought you meant like 10, 15, 20. I wasn't the Eartha Kitt boomerang play.
But I think that's common though. A lot of guys when they're young, they like older women because they're more advanced. They're more advanced, right? And then when they get older, they like more
That's younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little age gap in the dynamics. Yeah, fellas, y'all gotta be careful though. I know. Shout out to her and him, both friends of the show, but they get him a lot of criticism. A lot of criticism. It's like, I mean, he picked her. You know what I mean? Come on. We'll talk one day. Not today, because I like my peace. Please. They be happy in the Hamas. Every time I see him at the game, they look, you know what I mean? Like, come on, yo. I feel like after a certain amount of time, people just like to pick on certain people on the internet. Yeah. So, well, what do I know? Maybe we should get a hijab like Brittany, friend of the show. Maybe they'll ease up. Brittany, I want no smoke, friend of the show. Yeah, maybe if she got a hijab and cleaned up her image, then it wouldn't be as bad. We got to talk about the baddies who got lost in the nightlife and then they rebrand a few years later. That's the other finesse. That I'm good now. Ooh.
The rebrand baddie play legendary.
Yes. Wicked. I know I woke it up. I gotta ask though, if Future and Nas had a versus, how tough is the Fasco? Everybody in New York been killing me. Yo, I'll quit you.
No, you can't.
We let you out here in Long Island. Hey, bro, I was just
in Long Island
trying to be an ambassador for Timbo. You know what I mean?
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah, but some of the best fruit salads are. You know what I mean? It's a good little different. Because everybody like Jay and Nas, Drake and Pluto. All right, I hear they back cool, so that's probably not gonna happen. Jay's never doing the verses. So I don't think Future gets the credit he deserves, though.
Future's, but who is his competition though, right? Because is he really a rap? I don't look at Future as a rapper. I never looked at Future as a rapper because he had a whole R&B album. He has a whole album where he's not rapping at all.
So did Lauryn Hill, and she rapped her ass off.
What's the Lauryn Hill album that she didn't rap?
What's the Future album where he didn't rap?
No, the one that just came out. The We Don't Trust You. We Still Don't Trust You. He didn't rap at all.
On there?
No, We Still Don't Trust You. The We Don't Trust You, he rapped.
Oh, with the wicked. Yeah.
We Still Don't Trust You. That was the R&B album.
Got you.
So I don't really know who to compare Future to. He's in the class by himself, actually.
Got you. Hey, what you think?
Rod Wave. But Rod Wave is not as
big. We can't even.
No, but I'm just saying that's kind of who I'm
that lane.
That lane, yeah.
Got you. What you think Future thought when he saw Rocco got arrested and his the hair unit was off?
Shout out to Rocco, man. You know, he's been getting money for a long time.
For a long time, yo.
Atlanta legend. That mugshot was nasty. Oh, this is a better one. I'm gonna go back to this. Future or Travis Scott. Now, Future got more. Now, Travis Scott's kind of like in that lane. You don't really know what he is, right? Is he a rapper? Is he a rock star? Like, what is he? What is Travis Scott? I don't know.
Combination.
If you put 10 songs,
20,
like 15, that's a little closer than what people might think. Travis got monster stadium, shut the stadium down records.
Yeah.
Future or Travis Scott, who wins?
20 Future, 15.
10. Let's go 10. Travis might got that 10 because he got bigger records. He got bigger.
That's true. I was on
sicko mode. Sicko mode.
Tough, hard record. But I'm okay. But Future and Nas, that's a hard 10 for Esco. You gotta play Uchiwali and Hate Me Not real quick. And I'm not even the biggest Future fan. I was talking to Benzino the other day. He was like, Pluto got it. I'm like, you think so?
Benzino, like Raymond Benzino?
Yeah. Crying Benzino. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Benzino.
Shout out to Benzino.
What are you doing talking to Benzino? That's random. No disrespect. Shout out to Benzino.
That's a joke in itself, right? We was on Spaces, right? And my guy just had did like a little interview, and he had brought him up on the Spaces. So it was love. I had some jokes I wanted to get off, but I was like, I'm gonna be respectful.
Shout out to Benzino.
Shout out to Benzino.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Future has bigger records than Nas. I mean, of course. But I'm just saying I can't compare because Nas is a lyricist. I never once listened to Future on some lyrical shit like, damn, you heard what he said? I gotta rewind that. He said some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Lil Baby, I think, is more of a lyricist than Future. But I never listened to Future for his lyrics ever. Never in life.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be difficult for me to kind of gauge
properly. I ain't mad at it. Timbo. I don't know when y'all coming back. We got
that's happening soon.
Yeah.
That's already on the schedule.
Yeah. So
shout out to Timbo.
Swiss. So, and I know it's not a fair comparison. It's just me rebel rousing on the internet. So I'm a bigger Nas fan. So, but I think it'll be an interesting matchup too, for sure. And all the matchups haven't been apples to apples though. I thought the Snoop and DMX matchup was kind of different, and X didn't get enough credit. So,
yeah, Snoop won that though. Rest in peace to X.
Yeah, it was a different X. But if we just going off songs,
yeah,
it's cool.
Snoop got a lot of Snoop got a lot of records, man.
A lot of hits, yo.
Got a lot of singles.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
that was a good one though. Shout out to Snoop. Rest in peace to X.
Yeah.
Okay.
The random conversation with Benzino is crazy though. On a random Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Yo, what's up? Like, oh shit. Love what y'all do over there, man. Salute. It gotta be fake. Salute. What can you do?
What can you do?
Never know who you're running to. Gotta be kind at all costs.
You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Can we set up like a something with DraftKings about what percentages we think Puff will get out this year? I want to place a wager. Simon, not likely, but Puff may.
To place a wager on Puff play.
Yeah. What's the over under? What's the over under? Akademiks.
So okay, Akademiks. Look, we haven't talked about that before we leave. Before we leave, we have to address this academic situation because it's disturbing.
Yes.
I'm trying to get my hat correct.
It's fire. Whatever way, left, right.
Godspeed. Shout out to Nick. Akademiks. You know what, man? It's one of these things. It's an unfortunate situation. I don't know, man. It's just I don't like just when you start to involve kids,
it's nasty work.
For me, like, I got a son, I got, a niece, nephews, like I just, so I understand comedy. I'm all for comedy, and I'm all for like even a lot of some comedy that's like inappropriate comedy. Like Bernie Mac was an inappropriate comic. Like he made a joke about getting molested. Like looking back on it 25 years later, like that's very inappropriate joke, right? But it was funny, and we all have some level of dark humor in us. But it's just lines that you just can't cross, man.
And I'll say this very loudly and very clearly. I'm disappointed in everybody in media and hip hop media that is afraid to touch this because Axe's bag is bigger than yours. The caveat is I still think he's talented. I'm not trying to tear down a black man. I saw some of y'all say that on Twitter. I'm not trying to launch a campaign against Akademiks because if you keep doing certain foul things, God and karma has a way of catching up with you. And I heard a lot of people be like, yo, this is barbershop talk. I never sat in any barbershop anywhere in the nation and heard another black man or any man ask a kid if he likes to get sexually violated by another man. The fuck are we talking about?
That was crazy. That part.
What are you talking about?
That part different, bro. That's just different. And the kid had enough common sense to actually navigate the conversation very maturely.
Yes.
Like he said, like, yo, this is grooming. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, he
was more mature and more of an adult than Ak was.
He's like, yo, y'all gonna get the other person in trouble. Like, cause like he is a very smart kid.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for keeping his composure and knowing how to navigate in that uncomfortable type of conversation. But you know, just this internet shit just goes too far, bro. I understand, like, you know, content creators, like, you know, you make a living from creating content, and you make, the more viral your content is, the more money I understand how that works, but it's just a certain level of like, y'all just getting weird. Like even Myron, like y'all getting weird, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all just getting weird. Like it ain't, that's the good thing. It's like, yo, we content creators, but this ain't like, it's not going like life or death. Like we got to do the most shock value shit in the world to get attention, and we got to jump off of a cliff. Like, I mean, at some point you got to keep some level of integrity. You might not be the number one streamer, but at least you have your integrity. Like y'all willing to do anything and just completely crash out. Like that's crazy.
Which tells me that you're not that good of a business person. A lot of times, and I've had conversations with people about, oh, y'all want leather jacket back. And I love that y'all loved the episode last week and all that. But my thing is, if people have to go to this length, you're not good at podcasting, streaming, or broadcasting. To everyone who kept saying, well, Ek won't get canceled because his fans won't leave. You can get deplatformed. And you're going to mess with the wrong kid, and his parent is going to do something to you. I know how much of an issue it caused when old boy dropped that note in that mailbox with no mob ties. Please be careful. Leave people kids out. And a lot of y'all streaming be talking about people kids. It's all fun and games until you get caught. To some of y'all be like, yo, I'm inside. They don't know my identity. There's ways around that. There's ways around that. Please be careful. Stop. But parents, talk to your kids about who they're talking to. Even though that kid's a streamer, he should not be put in the line of fire to even have a conversation with a grown person. That's crazy. That is crazy. Myron, you're done. And to both them streamers, don't play that money game that y'all be trying to play with them other streamers. So, as your cop out, yo, I'm good either way. No. The business ain't going as good as you think. So.
It's a fact. That's a fact.
Crazy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tune
This
in.
the one time I'm gonna agree with Kendrick about y'all with them weird cases. Because you got a couple of accusations on your jacket already. You need to clear up and bay on. Shit nasty, yo. And to y'all hip-hop journalists, yo, I don't want to say nothing because I don't know the truth. Okay. I'm gonna get to calling y'all out too. But y'all know how to criticize what the decibel levels were at investors. I don't want to hear shit about what they're doing. Talk about this. If y'all know anybody riding around with young girls and talking to young boys like that in personal and private, if y'all don't say nothing, you just as guilty.
That's a fact. It's nasty.
Crazy.
It's nasty. It's unexcusable for sure.
Crazy.
It's unexcusable. Weird shit for sure. Definitely weird. But you know, it says a lot about the times that we're in.
Yep. Y'all will sell your whole integrity for a chance to be next to somebody with a bag. These are grown ass men. Y'all 47, 48, 38 talking about act the digital big bro. What? Okay. And y'all quit that too. If somebody older than you or you older, the young boy can't be your big bro. Yo, this is my grade. Y'all be talking to Kai, not yo, that sounds stupid. Shout out to Kai and be on the cover of Billboard. But yo, big bro, and man, you my inspiration. Your kids should be your inspiration.
That's
y'all crazy, yo. It's too much glazing.
That's a fact. Too much glazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Tune in tomorrow. We're doing a live stream the things you need to know before buying a home. Very important. Kiana Watson, shout out to her. And yeah, you know, it's one of these things. Blackout. We got another guest next week, special guest to be announced. We're on a roll.
Gonna be going. Be here early.
We're on a roll here.
Yeah.
Get your book. You Deserve to Be Rich. Vitally important.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to say before we head out of here?
Don't support suckers.
Rule number
People
one.
do foul shit.
Rule number one.
Yeah.
Rule number
That's
one.
crazy. And I have no personal vendetta against Act, but wrong is wrong.
No, that's a fact. Atlanta, Georgia. We on our way.
Oh yeah, we're on our way.
We will be in the building this weekend. So shout out to everybody that got the mastermind. It's gonna be a unforgettable experience for sure. Just the start of it, of everything. So man, looking forward to that. Always good to be back in Atlanta. And let us know the type of topics that you want us to hear from for the call-in section too. I think we definitely got to bring a few bottle service girls on. That's important. But let me know your thoughts. Like, who do you think that we should hear from? Like, what industry? Like, what industry type of person do you want to hear their point of view from like those micro conversations? It's been real.
Good.
It's been real.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all. See you on the flip side.